We are live again with Gary Harper.
Hey, what's going on,
How's it going,
guys?
Gary?
Hey, how's really good audio and video this time?
A lot better. We're at home. We have good internet, and we're not in California anymore, so we're good to go.
You're back in Kansas, Toto.
That's back in Texas, back in Kansas for sure.
I tell you what, I'm still full from dinner last night. That was some good food.
That was some excellent eatings for sure. And we what about that venue? That was pretty good deal.
It was. It really was. I was
Lots of good
impressed.
food, yes.
I didn't know where I was going. I was following my GPS, but once I got there, it was all right.
Oh, trust me, I had several phone calls going. I'm in residential area. I go, keep driving, you'll find it. It's not that far away, but just keep driving. It didn't look like it didn't look. I tell you what, the outside of the building does not look like the inside of the building for sure.
That's true. That's true.
We already got one.
That was a great time, and got to see a lot of people haven't seen in a while, and a bonus for me, seeing Jim Maybrier walking around shaking hands. That was kind of cool as well.
Yeah, Jim's feeling pretty froggy lately. Got his hip replaced. Looks like that's working out pretty well for him. Yeah, it was absolutely good to see and have him have some time on the stage with us to shake hands and talk to some racers. And I mean, after all, he's the reason why we're all here, right? And the simple fact that he's got a lot of friends and a lot of family, and he's been racing for a million years. I mean, he's started out that place in the 60s. So, I mean, can you imagine how many people that those guys' paths have crossed over the years? It's fantastic to have him still here and then enjoying himself and coming out and doing some things. So, yeah, good time for sure.
For sure. How many did you say you had a head count there? Was it a couple hundred?
Yeah, a couple hundred showed up, which is awesome to have for a Saturday night. I mean, this time of year, there's a lot of things going on. So we're new that there's going to be, other things for people doing, but it's like trying to schedule a race. What day do you pick, and try to make sure that nobody's got anything going on. So you put it out there far enough, and the ones that can make time, and the ones that got personal things going on, you deal with it. It works out pretty good. And we had a good time.
That's why I messaged you earlier on about when's the banquet going to be? We're going to PRI this, 7, 8, 9, and you guys are too. So that was an issue. It worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was not going to PRI. Unfortunately, I had one of our long-time drag racing buddies in Ohio, a guy who I, basically consider my brother, Joe Socek. Unfortunately had an untimely death of his father, and his funeral is going to be in Ohio on Wednesday. And so Gary and I decided that, I need to be at that funeral. So we're driving out, and then I'm like, hey, I got to drive through Indy to come home. Why don't we just stop at PRI? Right. So that's what brought our PRI trip on was that. And I also wanted to be able to go and it's always fun time. A lot of walking. Yeah. I don't need to be doing that in my boot, but we're gonna make work, and it'll be a good time. So I get to go see my second family out in Ohio, and then head out to PRI. We'll be there early Thursday morning.
Rodney and Tanner will be going for their first time.
Oh, that'll be an interesting.
That's exciting, yeah. The
first time when you walk through the first main lobby door and the door swings open and you walk in and you're just like, where do I start? I mean, it's just like, and guys, I told you before, I started out in a quarter midget sprint car background. So PRI is great for me because it's all the midget sprint cars, circle track stuff, drag racing, everything. If it's got a motor and it goes fast, it's a PRI. So you really can't find stuff that's not just up your alley for sure.
Right on.
Cool. Let's get into this WDRA stuff. We got this cool backdrop with WDRA. And
I see that, guys. Well, yeah, we were able to last night for anybody that's been living under a rock in Kansas, we have switched our sanctioning body from NHRA to the WDRA. We're very excited. We've signed a 3-year contract. It brings a different element to the weekend hobbyist racer versus a professional guy that's, out touring the world and doing that kind of stuff. They do what they do best. And unfortunately, at the small level racetrack that we are, we were just we just felt like that the WDRA was a better choice for us. Had the opportunity to have John O'Neill, the director, and the guy that pretty much dreamt this whole deal up, was able to come to our banquet and enjoy himself, but also get to answer some questions and kind of explain things. And there is going to be a ton of stuff rolling out in the next 2 weeks. But with everything we've had going on, building schedules and getting this banquet ready to rock and roll, and then, trying to find the right time to make this announcement. Quite honestly, the decision was made to go WDRA sometime in the late summer. We knew that it was going to happen. It was a matter of, we've had when we had gentlemen winning the ET finals and then going to Pomona to represent Mid America at the World Finals, we didn't want to tamper with any of those relationships that those guys might get or not get by making a switch. So we wanted to wait until, Patrick and them got home. So then once that happened, then it was like, okay, now where's the next best thing? And well, a room full of 200 people, probably the best time to make the announcement. It's not really something I wanted to do, via telephone or live feed. I mean, we got some guys that are now probably hearing it for the first time, and that's great. I mean, we've got a lot of opportunities with them, and we're really, really excited. And they're going to do so many things for us as a racetrack. That's the big thing is they're goal minded to keep it great for the racer, but also keep the racetracks going. And that's what our focus was what can we do in the coming years to make sure that this thing has sustained growth and will allow us to keep thriving and moving forward instead of going backwards or being another statistic, another track closing. We can't afford any more tracks in our area to close, and this gave us the best opportunity to stay open.
Yeah. I want to say something real quick. There's people watching. We got 33 watching. I've already seen one question from Brandon, but after we go here for a while, we'll get to a spot where we can roll back to these comments and catch some of these comments. But I don't want to ignore any of them, but just we'll get to them eventually as they come in. So
yeah, keep them coming.
Yeah, keep the questions up there coming. We can see them. We'll roll back to them and catch them just after a while.
Well, and even like John said in our meeting last night, if there's somebody that has a question, somebody else has the question and didn't ask it. So by asking the questions, we may be able to answer 10 different people's question with one question. So definitely, guys, if you got something going on, you want to know it, let's ask it. Let's figure it out. I guarantee you I'll have an answer. And
this first question that popped up was the racetrack related, not WDRA.
I got you.
So Harper, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Harper. So just as a question that everybody wants to know. So last year, to race at Arc City, I went out, got my NHRA license, which I should, no problem there. And so now that I have my license, how do I move forward?
So to move forward with the WDRA, if you are an existing NHRA member, all we have to do is simply fill out a form online and put in your information, and then you're going to receive an email back. And within a matter of 24 hours, you have a license. I noticed that Mr. Gary over there already got his handled. I seen it posted.
It is not 24 hours. It's much quicker than that, even on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it's and here's the other thing that's awesome. Their portals are set up so that Gary can process those licenses for you at the racetrack. In other words, all you have to have is your information, a login, create account, and she can help you get everything you need to do to create the license deal. It's quick. I mean, it's damn near instantaneous. So that part's good. If you are an existing NHRA member, and we obviously asked all you guys to get your licenses, and those that you did, most of you went and bought the 2-year license because it was a cheaper rate. The WDRA is going to do something that I've never seen a sanctioning body do in 30 years, which is if you sign the WDRA between now and we're going to say the start of the season, they're going to honor the distance you still have remaining on your NHRA license. They're going to tag it on the back of your WDRA license. So if your NHRA license was good for 2 years and now let's say it's February and you still have a year left. Now you're going to purchase your WDRA license, and now your license that you purchased for 1 year is now going to be worth 2 years. So that's one of those deals. The sooner you buy it, the better it is, because you're going to get more tacked onto the backside of that license for free. You know, if you wait till you're almost expired and then do it, you're not going to get any of that freebie moved on. So we definitely want to see that happen for sure.
And my deal today, my NHRA license expires in March, end of March in 25. And my new license with WDRA now expires in 2026.
You're right.
So
and that costs you a whopping $50 to get that
$50.
done. Now here's
$50 whole dollars.
50.
Yeah. Now that $50, let's get one thing clear, just so that everybody that's watching, if there's any of the other guys going, the $50 license is what they refer to as an insurance only license, meaning you will not have the rights to be able to go participate in the bracket racing program that allows you to go to earn points to go to the ET finals, or the world finals program that they've put together, where our bracket racing guys, they're going to be interested in that. That license is going to be $100. The same thing applies with the rollover. So those are really good deals. And the sooner you get them in, the more rollover you're going to have. The $50 deal is going to be for all of our index guys, heads up guys, motorcycle guys that aren't going to participate in the ET finals or the world finals. Now here's another beautiful bonus to this situation. John O'Neill and his team have put together some awesome marketing partners with them, and it's going to allow us, the racetrack, to receive half of that $50, Gary, that you just paid for your license. We will see $25 of that as the racetrack. So any licenses that are purchased here in the next few months, I'm going to receive half of that money to go to our keep the track open, keep making improvements, doing all the things that we've been working on. So it's definitely beneficial to become a WDRA member, because you know that you're helping your local racetrack at the same time as you are getting their insurance. Now, I will say that in the next couple of weeks, there's another program that they're launching that will allow you to buy the insurance only portion, which you just paid $50 for. You can actually pay an increased price, and we think it's going to be somewhere around $125, but that will allow you to have the medical coverage at any facility that you go to, whether it's NHRA, IHRA, or WDRA. So if you're a racer that maybe doesn't have personal health insurance and you're looking for that, accidental insurance coverage, and you're going to go to, say, an NHRA track, but maybe you only have a WDRA license. Well, you're only covered for $5,000 because you don't have the NHRA license. Well, you don't have to necessarily go out and spend that high dollar on the NHRA license. You get the WDRA license, but you get the upgraded insurance, and now you're covered no matter where you go race, as long as it is a sanctioned facility and a sanctioned event, meaning you're not out on the back roads racing. You're not doing one of these backwards events that's not, on a racetrack, sanctioned, going the correct way. So, but at least if you're on our facility, the $50 covers you. It's $150,000 accidental insurance. And it's definitely not a bad plan to have. And for $50, like I said, we get 25 of it. So we're going to look for all those index guys, all the small tire heads up guys, the motorcycle guys, everybody.
What about the guys that are running no prep?
NHRA license is still valid.
Okay, what was that?
What about the guys that'll be running no prep?
We're still going to want them to have a license so that they're covered. But again, it would be the $50. Your NHRA license too, by the way, Gary. I mean, I know you bought the WDRA to get the extra insurance and to be supporting the racetrack. Your NHRA license would have allowed you to race at our facility. That's one of the beauties, I just want everybody to know that, they don't necessarily have to buy the WDRA license. We're looking to do it because obviously it's supporting the alliance that we joined, and it's also supporting Mid America Dragway.
Yeah, the $50, you said the track gets half of that. Since I went through that process this afternoon with the $50 and I got that all deal squared away, how does WDRA know that I'm affiliated with your track that you get the $25?
So it should have asked you for a home track on your form.
It did not.
Okay, then I will check with John in the morning and find out what's going to take place. I know that they were working on something that showed the home track, so that way those are automatically logged to me. I know that he's got a list, and I think your address will probably make it automatic, but at the same token, I'll verify that with him in the morning. And I'd call him right now, but he's on a plane back to Ohio. So I'll get an answer, and we'll let you know for sure. But I'm quite comfortable and quite trusting in what their situation is, that we're definitely gonna get that money, because we're keeping track on our end too, for sure.
Okay, good.
Sure.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, we want you to get that money, to get the updates and upgrades and that sort of thing. So that's good stuff.
We had our schedule done. There's a printable link right now on our website. So if you go onto our website and go onto our schedule, you click the schedule deal, and it's got says click here for a full schedule. Click that, create a PDF, and it will print you off a schedule of what we've got planned for next year. Obviously, it's not the real fancy, one that we normally do and pass out and guys can hang up in their garage wall. This is just a simple, but it gives you the dates for those guys that are looking to get some vacation time already scheduled and those kinds of things. It's a full schedule. It's not moving. If we have cancellations, they're probably just going to be cancellations. There's just not a whole lot of room for moving stuff around. There is a couple of dates that are open that, we've just marked closed on the facility. We probably, in an emergency situation, may be able to do something there. But the problem is guys schedule time off of work, and guys have shift changes and things. We've got a lot of people that do shift work, and they got to work weekends. And so when they make arrangements to take time off, they need to make sure that those days are what's going to happen. And then say you're a points racer guy, and all of a sudden track goes, oh, we got rained out this week, we're going to run next week. And well, I don't have next weekend off. Now I can't come. That's a problem. So we just kind of go, listen, we live in Kansas. If we lose it, we lose it. We'll all sit home and complain about it and wish to heck we were out racing and we did an indoor sport, but it's probably just not feasible at that point. So
sure.
Some highlights for you guys. We've got the first weekend in April, essentially, is going to be the first points race for Heads Up Series. And the PDRA motorcycle guys will be back with us again. Cool. Also looking at the first weekend in May, which is going to be again, all of these will have a Friday test session and a Saturday event. The times are really going to depend on the weather, guys. If we look at there and we're going, listen, it's only going to be 60 degrees of the high, we're going to run that deal as a day race. If all of a sudden, we get those freak deals in May where it's 85 degrees, we're probably going to push that start back and run towards more of the evening. I think I've gotten enough trust from you guys with the track prep situation. We've raced when it was 125 degree track temp, and we raced when it was 50 degrees, and we got down it both ways. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. It's more of the comfort level for the spectator that we're asking to come and participate and sit in the stands. I don't want anybody in the stands uncomfortable, freezing to death, and it's 50 degrees outside and the wind's blowing, and thinking to myself, well, it was nice earlier today and we just chose not to run. I think we just need to look at those things, and weather maps are close enough these days that we can at least go, hey, it's trending to be warm. Hey guys, we're gonna start this thing at noon, or it's trending to be cooler in the evening. Let's start at 10. So that's kind of the format I'm looking at, somewhere around either a 10 o'clock start or a noon start for those two events. So we'll just kind of play that by ear. One thing that is real exciting for us. We've worked with the folks at the Titan 10-5 series, and we're going to have that race back at Mid America. So
nice.
That's going to be killer. And that's going to be the 18th and of May as well. So almost like 2 back-to-backers there. You got one in and a week off and then back again at Mid America. So
right.
We're going to do the full host of Titan series. So all of their index classes and all the things that the Outlaw guys have to offer, which is fantastic. We like all that. Go ahead.
So now you're talking about the Titan stuff. Can we tell everybody, because the Titans group is going to be looking at Arc City, a lot of out of town guys, Oklahoma, Missouri, and stuff. A lot of them guys, they go everywhere with that outfit. Be some locals also, a lot of out of towners. What will they need to do coming to the track to race with the license stuff in place?
If they have it out
now and have it out there for them to know.
Right. If they have an IHRA or a current IHRA or NHRA license, and the IHRA license that they got is at least 2 years old, meaning none of the stuff that was currently reissued, but if it was issued 2 years ago or newer or older, then the IHRA license would work. If they have an NHRA license, we absolutely accept it. If they don't have any license, $50 gets them taken care of. It's still going to be within the window that I can offer the $50 license. So that's what we've already reached out to Al and he's told his guys. So basically we want them to wear the normal gear that they would wear, as far as gloves, helmet, Hans, if it's required, neck brace, fire pants, fire shoes, or leather shoes, depending on, again, power adders and fuel and that kind of thing. And then basically this $50 license, they can actually purchase it day of. I mean, we can get them, we can help them get them processed right away. So
that was the next question is, do they need to do it beforehand or can they do it at the track that day?
However they choose, they can do it. If they get in a situation where, boy, I'd really like some help with this, let's get it taken care of. We're going to be open for them on Friday. We are going to do a test. The Friday leading up to the Titans race, it's going to be an open test and tune. It'll be a standard, $40, $50 test and tune deal. Then what's going to happen is we're going to offer 2 rounds of prepped qualifying. So we'll probably do a deal where it's like, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and maybe 9:30 we'll come out. We'll do a reprep, a refreshen, run all the small tire cars or the radial type, cars, fast cars, and then work our way through that rotation that they have. So it's, Al's deal is it's not radial prep, it's good prep. I'll be honest, I'm all in, man. I'm a make it right, and whatever happens. So I want to put some numbers down.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. It's for me. It's the only way that I get the juices flowing anymore. I mean, I love bracket racing. I love the big dollar stuff. I love the tight package racing. But when you're standing there on the starting line and you got 10 guys filming stuff, and all of a sudden somebody just lays down a lap and everybody's jumping up and down, that's a cool deal. And so
absolutely,
how it happened.
Right. Absolutely. And so we will, however we set up our prep for Friday, will be the same racetrack that you have on Saturday for that event. I know that's a tough situation. There's a lot of guys that just don't feel like they can keep up with the racetrack. I feel like you can. I do it on a regular basis. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's 125 or if it's 60. I know what to do. We'll make it work. We'll get it done. So we're really looking forward to that event. I know that there is some big dogs, over East, and I'm looking forward to it. I'd love to see some of the guys come up from Texas. As long as it fits their rule platform, come on down and get you some, because we're gonna be ready to roll. And then
right on.
Our last
so hold
race,
on a second, Harper.
Okay, go ahead.
On that, just to verify, because I'm looking at your schedule. So the 17th when where it says test and tune, that's part of the qualifier for the Titans. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, no, it won't be I don't believe that it's a qualifier. I believe it's just we set up the track 2 times specifically for their qualifying part versus me going out there every hour and prepping it. We're going to do it basically to start the day and then 2 more times as the night goes on. I have to get with Al to find out if that's actually going to be qualifying or if it's just open practice. I believe it's just set up as open practice, but you're not going to get
the wrong word. It's not qualifier because it's a chip draw. And so I think it's just the time on the track. Yeah.
It's just time on the track, but let's face it. You've come in from out of town. You've had you two on the live feed for the last 6 months telling them how badass this racetrack is. And then it's not. What a letdown. I'm not willing to have the letdown. I'm not willing to let my reputation go down the tubes, your guys' reputation go down the tubes. I want the thing to be kill. So that's kind of what the plan is. I think
by May you're going to forget how to prep a track.
No. So I'll have some practice in April. So it's all good.
Right.
There you go.
It will. And I'm hoping, the same momentum that you gave our racetrack prior to the last race that we did, the selling of the groceries out of the concession stand and, all the people that came out and supported the deal. Fantastic. I mean, absolutely
nice. Spot
on. It worked. It did great for us. It was a situation where and we call it small tire for no other reason than it's just the easiest way for me to describe it. But, all of those index classes, the small tire guys, Chad bringing the PMRA over, those are races that had typically been major losers financially for Mid America. However, there was a need for it and if this thing could just get back some momentum, it would be totally worth it. And we want to be able to do that. So what we're looking to do is get some marketing partners behind it, and then and we'll make it what we think it can be. The final race on your guys' schedule for the small tire stuff is going to be on the 19th of October. Originally, I had you guys slated for the first weekend of October, and come to find out that was a Titans race. And again, we're all trying to compete for the same cars. Correct. And I can't ask those guys to come here and then not give you guys an opportunity to go there.
Sure.
So
fair deal. Fair.
Right. So we made the switch, and then it also just happened to work out that the PMRA guys had a King of Grudge race down at Extreme the first week in October. So as soon as we started to light that up, I'm like, wait, nope, that ain't going to work. For those of you that maybe don't look far enough ahead in the schedule of how life works, Easter this year is actually March 31st. So it threw the whole schedule making process off one weekend for everybody. Tons of shifts. Something as simple as our nostalgia race that has typically been the 4th weekend of August now becomes moved. The date moves or September. The date moves a bunch. It's 6 days different than what it normally is. So I had a whole schedule laid out, and then I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, something ain't adding up. I'm never going to race on Easter. That's just not going to happen. There's 2 days. Right. My mom is a big supporter of my racing, both as a career driving and now as a manager. But she made me promise her when I started managing tracks, she said, there's 2 days you don't race, Mother's Day and Easter. I said, Christmas is on the table. And she goes, I don't care what you do on Christmas. She says, because you guys are idiots. She goes, but Mother's Day and Easter, those are just no-nos. Right. So then it rolled and shifted the whole entire schedule.
Right.
PMRA is going to do something absolutely amazing in October. What they've decided is they are going to do a 2-day race, and it's going to be their PMRA season ending. They're going to refer to it as their World Finals.
Nice.
So what's going to happen is the Friday night, we're going to do our radio prep stuff like we normally do. We're going to give them a couple of whacks, and that'll actually be qualifying passes or at least one qualifying pass. Come out. We'll do a Saturday event, full event for them, full event for you guys. Then Sunday morning, get up and do another event. And basically, it's going to allow them to have 4 races with 3 travels. And so, there's nothing saying that if we still got 8 cars hanging around the pits on Sunday that want to go out and beat on each other for pot money, as far as put some money in the pot, I better clarify that with us being this close.
Pot money.
Pot money. Yeah, I thought about that. That's not going to work. If we want to do a buy-in and you guys want to go kill each other, the track's going to be there. I mean, I think I hate to put the track together and not have somebody using it.
Not use it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the whole thing
is last year we came in and put a pot together there at the end on that Saturday.
For a record deal. Yep. So
same thing.
Excuse me. So PMRA 4 races,
nice,
essentially in 3 weekends, which is fantastic for them.
Nice.
A great shout out to Chad and his guys. He's trying to expand his schedule, but he called us and said, "Listen, I want you guys to be home to do this deal, and I want he goes, you gave us an ultimate racetrack every time we were there, and he goes, we can count on it." And that's important to us because, he's trying to sell it to his riders because he needs people to show up to make it work.
Sure.
So that was a fantastic deal. A couple other highlights on our schedule. And I know this is going to draw lots of questions, and that's okay. We love the feedback, but
hold on, Gary.
Okay.
Hold on. Just staying with that date on the 19th. It says Heads Up Series Race for the Rod. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was going to lead in that in a minute, but we'll take it now. So there is the trophy that the WDRA has created is a 21.5-inch tall connecting rod that mounts onto a base. If my lovely assistant could grab it for me, which she is, she's going to go grab this thing. This thing is outrageous, man. It's fantastic. And the WDRA actually had a naming contest because they knew they were going to catch a bunch of flack for calling a trophy the rod. But it's basically a billet connecting rod, and I have to start small and work my way because it's huge. That's the top of it, and it basically sets in this platform, and then the bottom of it right in through here would have the announcement on it or what class it is.
Awesome.
We're going to have the opportunity. I know that everybody that came at the end of the year and ran our quote unquote Wally race or our Speed for All race had the opportunity to race for a Wally. Right. One of the things that we decided when we went to WDRA is we said, hey guys, you normally run a rod race for the bracket guys. I said, my heads up guys and index guys are just as important as those guys, and I don't want them left out. What can we do?
Right on.
And he says, we ain't never done nothing like that. He says, but we are an alliance built to make the track work. And just because we've never done it before doesn't mean we can't do it. So what do we need? And I said, I'm going to need 7 of them things. I says, because I need 7 of them because I got 7 categories that are going to be out there. And I said, I want them fighting tooth and nail for that thing, just like they would, a Wally. And so that's what the rod race is. So that race there at the end of October, that will be a rod race for all the index classes, and it will be for small tire, big tire as well. So fantastic program that they got there.
Did you already clear a spot on your shelf, Rodney? You think you're going to haul that home?
Oh man, I'm wanting that bad.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the thing starts out as a 21-pound billet, and then they just start machining it. And one thing I do want to point out, this is why the WDRA was so important to me. Everything that they have done, their trophies, their flags, the things that they are using for promotion, all made in the USA, 100%. When you get a Wally, the pewter man is made overseas, and then the obviously the wood piece is made here, and then they assemble them. The Iron Man that IHRA uses, that guy comes from China, and when John and his team decided to do this, it was about, what can we do to put the American worker together to help benefit the American racer. And so these are made in a machine shop in Ohio, and they're custom made individually. Fantastic piece. It's actually 3 components that bolts together, but all the bolts are hidden the way it's made. It's a really cool deal. So that's going to be, that's cool. It is. It's fantastic. I didn't let too many people paw on it last night, because this one's not ours. This is the This was the sample. And I actually, because I am going to that funeral in Ohio, I'm hand delivering it back to the head office in Ohio for the WDRA. So I'm going to go take it to them on Tuesday. But
very nice.
That way Johnny didn't have to try to get that thing through customs or security at the airport. What the hell is that?
What are you doing here?
Exactly.
So just for my own notes, going back up to April 6th on the flyer that you handed out, it says Heads Up Series PMRA. So is the Friday before a test?
Yes. Okay. And the only reason why it got, unfortunately, it got something happened when we transferred it. But yes, there'll be, every time we do a radial deal, we'll have a test prior to. So
sounds good.
And that's going to obviously be open to you guys and the motorcycle guys. And details on that will be once we start getting close, then we'll know, again, hours of operation. We know it's tough. I'm not going to try to do something at 1 PM unless it's going to be miserable that evening. And, we got to get it shut down by 7:00. Then we're going to just basically put the word out and say, this is what we got. And if we got enough players, we'll do it. If we don't, we'll try it again. Right. But I'm hoping, I know your April is going to be very crowded. So I know we got to get you guys in, tested, ready to race. And then, you get our event done, and then you head down to Texas to do that deal down there, which is the Radio Roundup, cool event. So glad you guys go down there and support that deal as well. We got to keep radio racing alive around here, or it's just it's going to go away. It's very expensive to do those events. So the more cars and the more people that we have involved, the better it's going to be. I mean, let's face it. I love bracket racing. I love it because of I understand how hard it is to the average guy drinking a beer in the stands. Why did that guy get a head start, and why did that guy lose when he got there first? It's the common question. Everybody enjoys a heads-up race. They can understand it. Even the index stuff, they're starting to get a hang of it. So we definitely want to make sure that we support it. Are we ready for the next cool, exciting thing that we want to talk about?
Yes.
How about some no prep? How about some no prep races?
That's what I'm ready to talk about. I'm ready to talk about some no prep.
Right quick before you go to that, because this doesn't count as a no prep deal.
Okay.
Time slips. Are you going to keep printing paper, or has there been any talk about doing a app?
So yes and no. Yes, we talked about it. At the current, we're no. And the reason why is because it needs Wi-Fi to support it. And we have terrible Wi-Fi currently at the facility. The requirement, it's probably like the Wi-Fi at my mom's house, apparently. So until we can come up with a plan, it just really isn't feasible, because that information, if it doesn't have the ability to go out right then and there, the system gets backed up. It becomes a nightmare. Now you got 10 guys running to the tower. The other thing that we don't like about it is when we do our certain classes, they're no time. We got bike classes that are no time. The heads up guys, if they're testing, they may not want somebody to see what's going on. And when we do it on paper, I have the ability to split the time slips, left lane, right lane.
Right.
And I know that is not, it's not as big a deal for you guys specifically because you run your radial stuff with the clocks on. There are a lot of associations that we're talking to and trying to get involved that they don't run with the clocks on. And so that becomes a nightmare because if you just pull up a car number, you can get information. And I know that they said, oh, well, there's passwords and there's this and that. If there's a way that it can be put on there, there's a way somebody can take it.
Yeah. I was doing that.
Absolutely. You're like, hey, I got this guy next round. I was
doing that in Tulsa.
All right, I got him covered by 3/10. Why am I going to go beat on it? I'm just going to make a nice clean lap and we're going to put it down.
My shit's slow and everybody knows it.
Well, and that's okay because now you can sneak up on them. But if they
there you go.
If they don't know that it has a potential to you're consistently going 460, and you got the guy covered by 2/10, it just changes the makeup. If you don't really know, you just think. I've stood at the starting line for a lot of years. I can't tell you by looking at it if it's a 430 or a 450 from the starting line, other than how hard it leaves. I can tell when a car goes in the teens and 60 foot or when it goes in the O's because I got a lot of experience. Yeah. But the problem is, it was just like when Devin Brown came and that first pass and that thing left like a turd because that's how he set it up. And I went duck and I stood back and all of a sudden that thing just took off and I went, whoa.
Yep.
If the clocks were off in that situation, would anybody have realized that car went 430 on the first lap?
Right.
Probably not. Not the way it left.
No.
Right.
No.
So that's the thing is that's the part of it that we're trying to do. And I'll tell you, the bracket racing guys look at it the same way. The bracket racing guys are like, hey man, this dude's been teen on the tree and I've been there's no reason for me to lean on any harder. And
Right.
And so
it's
this is an age of information, and as much information as I can get on the next guy makes my chances better. And so there's a side of that deal that as a competitor, I don't want you to have my information. We know we've got crew chiefs and wives that are standing over there in the corner nonchalantly writing down ETs and writing down mile per hours, and they're coming back to the trailer and they're like, he ran this and he ran this and he ran. Yeah. You know what? If you're willing to put in the work, you should have that information. But to just type it on your computer and go, hey, check it out. I know what everybody did. That's not cool. So we've talked about it, but I don't believe that we're going to go forward with it.
10-4.
Okay.
So let's talk about no prep.
Let's talk
First thing on your list, March 16th, first day, no prep.
First day, the opener.
Track should be ready all winter.
Yeah.
No prep.
We're gonna be working on the racetrack a bunch this winter. There's quite a few places where there's basically little hairline cracks that have heaved up, and if you put a 6 foot level across it, it may have an 1/8 of an inch hump in the center that we're going to take and grind all those down. That's some of what the guys are seeing on their graphs. We're going to fix that. It's not hard to do. I've done it at every racetrack I've ever worked at. So we know what the process is. We're not going to create dips because that's even worse than a hump. Because a hump you can play with a shock. The dip unloads the whole entire car guaranteed. So we're going to try to play some of those. The transition at 300 feet needs a little work done to it. A couple spots in the asphalt needs a little work done to it. So we figured if we go in there and do our grinding process, then we go in and we scrape, and then we're going to let it sit for a little bit. It ought to be perfect.
There you go.
I know that there is a lot of interest, and I know there's probably a million questions. Here's the problem. I am not that guy. I'm going to be working with, what I consider heroes in our area for this type of work or this type of racing. And we're going to be getting with those guys shortly. I know I probably blew poor Nick Roberts up all week last week because I kept sending him message and going, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And can we do over here? And he sent me a master sheet that has every event that they have booked all over the country. That was fantastic, so that we could get these races where they make sense on our calendar, and also not interfere or step on something that's already been going. I get so pissed when somebody does it to me, so I try like hell to not do it to them. Unfortunately, in our area, we've only got we're a March to maybe March. Let's face it, March is a maybe around here. Maybe March to October is what we got to play with, and then you start calculating in that, you know, this racetrack has 4 major races. This racetrack has 4 major races. This racetrack has 4 major races. It's taken 12 weekends out of the loop. So it ended up being a pretty good situation. Back to that first weekend of the first Saturday of the deal. We're not going to do a test and tune prior to. It's basically off the trailer. Let's see what you got. The classes and those rules are going to be put together in the next week or two. I'm going to need some help. I've already reached out to the players that be in the area to get a kind of a lowdown. We don't want to do anything that takes us out of the norm, or make us alienated that, oh, I can't run because I'm supposed to have a real windshield or something in this category, and I can't. Listen, if they've been running it this way at these 6 locations, I want in. I just want the same deal here. We're going to do March. We're going to do the Saturday before Mother's Day, because again, Mother's Day is a loser as far as me. I have to keep the facility closed. So we're going to come in. We'll do a no prep event that day. And I think we'll have a ball with it. I'm hoping that we get a handle on what we need to do to the track prior to the event to make it as no prep as possible, or at least what the standard is for these racetracks. Everybody that's been to Arc City knows the grandstands are all up front. I got nothing on the top end. So it doesn't allow us to do a top end race. The insurance company and the sanctioning body is not going to let me run it backwards. So we've got to run on the racetrack that we have been provided. We just need to do it in the best way that we can to make sure that we, keep it within the fun and the rules of the way that deal is set up. So we've got the Saturday before Mother's Day, and then we're going to also do at the end of the year that weekend of the Titans race, that we'd already talked about. We're going to do no prep that weekend too, which is in October. We didn't figure that any of the no prep guys would be doing a Titans race halfway across the country, so to speak. So it gave us a perfect opportunity to give them guys an opportunity to come run in cooler air. And it will definitely be interesting for me. I've dealt with it a very little. I did one, I'll be honest, I did one no prep event. It's not my forte, but Doug that runs I-29 Speedway down in Iowa, they kill it. They do 4 or 5 of them a year. He's really good at it. And that's Joey Heichel's home track. And Joey's obviously a stud doing this stuff. We've obviously got, Callie Nate's in our area. So we'll be looking to those guys to help guide us what we need to do. And we're going to take their recommendation. There's, I'm not in any position to reinvent the wheel here, guys. When it comes to the no prep stuff, I'm going to go with what works and give them an opportunity to come out here and race and do it in a safe environment and have a lot of fun doing it. So
great. So March 16th, May 11th, and October 5th. That's what I'm seeing.
That's
Those
correct.
Are 3 days.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, and if you got questions or any issues about the no prep, don't contact Rodney or me, because we will not have an answer for you. So
and they're going to and they're going to come to me, and I'm going to defer and say, I don't know. Let me find out.
I just threw it off us, so don't ask us. Don't send us messages. We will not have an answer.
It's easy. You just, when the flashlight goes, you just take off. That's all I know.
Yeah, pretty close. Well, our tree is set up for instant green, so we just got to find out
instant green.
If they want to do flashlight, if they want to do again, this is going to be, I've wanted to do it. I didn't know how to break into it. I know that it's just it's an exciting thing, and if it gives the racetrack an opportunity to sell some hot dogs, put some butts in the seats, and give me the opportunity to take some money from that deal and roll it into more improvements. We're going to be doing a ton of stuff, and we'll hit on some of those before we're done here tonight. But it's all about the cash flow and making the racetrack strong. That's what we want to do.
Well, if I'm not racing myself, I'm going to watch, and maybe it might inspire me to build a car. Who knows? We'll see.
We'll be there.
Well, I know that it's and I know that there'll be a few of the guys. I know Shane had talked about putting his car together, putting it set up for no prep. So I look forward to it. I think it's going to be a home run. I'm hoping that we're not doing too much by doing 3 events, but they're spaced out pretty far. I don't think it'll hurt us. There's a couple of races, even on their master sheet. I'm within a couple of weeks from anything on their master sheet. So I do believe it gives them a fair shake at it. If they end up with some TV time and they got to go somewhere to do something, that could screw part of it up. But for the most part, I think they're good dates. We'll see what happens.
I think everybody.
October, go ahead, Rod.
I was just going to say, I haven't heard anybody say this is a bad idea. Everybody I've heard talk about like going no prep at Arc City is on board. So I'm excited for it. I
am for sure.
All right, that October 5th no prep is also the Ozark Titans deal. I could see Shane Mock staying here racing no prep instead of traveling 6 hours to Springfield or I guess it's Ozark. Yeah, Ozark. That's about a 6-hour run. I bet Shane would stay here and run no prep versus traveling that far to race in Titans. He kind of likes that stuff.
Well, you guys will be able to come. You guys will be able to come support and do the other deal. And then I'm just going to tell you on that October race when you go to drive out of town, just swing by and drop off a check for like $30 in the mailbox. That's what you would have drank and ate at the concessions.
There you go.
We'll just call it good. How's that?
That's a bimbo, or whatever.
There you go. There you go. Hey, you supported it. You were just 6 hours away doing something else.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm not an expert in no prep at all, but I do follow it and stuff. I know they have a big tire class. I know they have a small tire class, and I know I've heard words like true street or hard tire, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I mean, those are just words I've heard in the no prep lane.
You and me both. But I've got a lot of friends in northern Iowa and in Iowa and in Nebraska that have plucked a lot of money out of the Midwest doing that. Yeah. And so between talking to those guys and getting them to come down here and support us and the hitters that we already have in our area, there's no reason why we can't put on a fantastic event.
Well, you're doing the right way too, Gary. Instead of just like, hey, we're doing it this way, it's my track. When the way you're doing it, like talking to the experts out there to say, hey, I just want to get in the game. Here's my date. Come to my track. What do we need to do? I mean, that's hats off to you for doing it.
Well, it's everything that I've learned doing this track stuff. I learned from somebody else. I don't think any of us are born with the knowledge that we have. We've picked it up somewhere, and if you do it well, you picked it up from somebody that was better at it than you were when you started. Or you wouldn't have what you have. I can confidently say I put myself pretty high up on the list when it comes to knowledge in doing radial stuff, and real high on the list in the bracket side. And it's okay to say this is the third element to our sport that I'll get good at it. Let me tell you, everything that I do, I take at it as an opportunity to learn something. And then I'm probably going to go to them and go, hey, can we tweak it like this? Because from a standpoint of either how the facility runs or the show runs, could we look at this? Could we look at that? And you know what? Maybe we look at something and they go, you know what? We've never tried it like that.
There you go.
Just because the answer is we've always done it that way doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best way. Sometimes it takes fresh eyes to look at it and go, what do you think? But they're too good at what they do for me to start from scratch. I'm I'm not willing to fumble through it for a year or two and go, this just isn't working. No, let's get something that works right now, and then we'll twist and tweak from there.
You're probably going to get bored because you're not going to be rolling around on that sprayer. You know what I mean?
I'm already $3,500 to the good. Just open
the gate.
Yeah. I don't have to buy any glue. I'm good. So that is a good deal. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope they don't scare the hell out of me, and I know they will, because I'm the stand on the line and hold my breath and just keep the shiny side up and don't hit nothing, because I don't like cleaning race cars off my racetrack. But it's part of racing, and hopefully that everything works well. So
no, that's great. Anything else on your schedule you want to talk about while we got a minute here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we got any bracket guys, but I'm sure some bracket guys will kick on this deal and look later. The May, let's see, no, let's get my calendar right. April 19th, 20th, and 21st, Spring Big Bucks bracket race. So anybody that came to our Labor Day payday event, this is the exact same format, just being moved to April, and we'll also do the Labor Day, so twice. This is a two, for you guys, not to bore you to death, I'll go real quick. You have the opportunity to buy 2 different color tech cards. So if you're a no box guy, you buy a yellow tech card and a green tech card. If you're a box guy, you get a red tech card or a blue tech card. Those categories are run separately. So we'll run all the red cars out, and then we'll switch to a no box class, and we'll run all the yellow cars out. Then we'll switch back to a box class and run all the blue cars. Then we'll run all the green cars. What the theory is not only do you give yourself time in between each color to go back to the trailer, cool them, fuel them, and get them ready to come back, but if you were to do awesome in both categories, you would have the opportunity to race yourself in a final. And John Moggins almost pulled it off this last year when we did it in Labor Day. I mean, we had a couple of racers that were down to, a couple of entries with, we're down to like 8 cars, and we got 2 guys that are in twice. Wow. And you're sitting there going, can they do it? Can they pull it off? I had it done in Ottawa when we ran the track. Gentleman raced himself in the final, essentially. So, he's a single on one side of the ladder. And then on the other side, he's got to race a semi. He wins the semi. It's split it and quit it. He wins the winner money and runner up money. Wow. So it's a cool race. It's fun. It pays well. But when I talked to the guys down here, there was a few guys, the Wheelers and Lauren, Dodd, and Moggins, and even Chris had drove up to Ottawa when I ran the race up there. I'm like, this is really cool. And I'm like, it will spread. This kind of format will spread. And then I end up coming down here to run the track. So
there you go.
I brought it with me. I didn't have to spread. I just brought it with me.
You named all the hitters there too.
Absolutely. And they did very well. They did very well. We're going to run 12 points races. You're going to keep your best 10. So that way, if there's let's call it an emergency, a family member that's decided to get married and for whatever reason didn't check in with you to find out if you were racing this weekend. We've had a lot of weddings that have popped up during race season. We've had a lot of just weird stuff. So you'll be able to kick out 2 races, so you'll keep your best 10. So that's basically going to be 6 weekends of bracket racing. They're all done Saturday, Sunday. Fantastic operation there. The classes, even though we've gone to WDRA, there's a couple of things that have changed. Instead of calling it Super Pro, we'll call it Box. Instead of calling it Pro, we call it No Box. Sportsman is still Sportsman, but it goes from a quarter-mile class to an 1/8 mile class. One thing that I did get done with John this morning before he got on the plane, I believe that we're going to switch the index that was and has been for years, 750. We're going to bump it down to 740 because the conversion from 1160 quarter mile to 1/8 mile is a little bit faster than 750. Sure. And we do have a lot of guys that ran right on that, 756, 757. They're
Right.
trying to be the fastest car in the category. So we're going to give them an extra 10th. And that's actually going to get changed essentially nationally. So that's the beauty of John. You sit down and I used to run stuff up the flagpole at NHRA, and it had nothing to do with Nick, the division director. He was fantastic. And I want to make that perfectly clear, because there'll be rumors and they'll be, no, I'm telling you right now, Nick Duty did a fantastic job with our situation. However, there's a lot of brass north of him. And that's where I personally had the issues with. And the way certain things were handled. I'm not going to get into that. They're a great organization. Just wasn't for me.
Sure.
There are several vice presidents and management in the NHRA. At the WDRA, Scooter Pico, John O'Neill, Josh P., 3 guys.
Yeah.
And Frank 𝐀𝐽𝐻. 4 guys basically run the whole thing. When I have a problem, it's like calling the president of the United States and going, "Hey, bud, I got a problem with the tax bracket." You have the ability to go to the top. Where can I do that at NHRA? I spent 48 hours trying to get a 15-minute meeting with those guys.
Right.
It's fantastic to have people that are accessible, because I'm calling you at 10 o'clock at night. There's been an incident or there's a problem. I need answers. And they know that I'm not calling to ask them what they had for dinner. They know I'm calling because I got an issue and I need it handled right now. The other thing too is they were able to, when I, not that we're going to have a bunch of motorcycle guys on here, but when I talked about going WDRA, I said, "Hey, Wichita's got the biggest, baddest motorcycle racers in the country. They're all right here." I mean, between the, let's call it Noble, north to North Wichita, that area, and Kansas, fantastic motorcycle racers. I said, I don't really want to do WDRA that we leave those guys out. I'm a leave no man behind kind of guy. And they basically created a motorcycle class for us. He's like, nobody's ever put their foot down and said, "We really need this." And I said, "I need it." It got created this morning. I said, I've been thinking about that index deal, and I'd really like to see that moved. And I think it needs to be, 750, or 740. The roll cage rule is 735. And what they didn't want to have is take a sportsman guy that the car runs right at the bottom of the index, but it doesn't have a roll cage in it. Now he breaks out. Do you throw him out because he doesn't follow the rules? I mean, in theory, you probably should, because he's broke a safety infraction. But at the same token, he dialed the index, or he dialed the bottom of the class. So we don't want the bottom of the class to be exactly where the roll cage break is. So that's why the 740, but at least it's a 10th. And a 10th and the 8th, well, how many millions of dollars have you spent to get a 10th faster in the 8th? Quite a bit.
Right.
So,
hey, Gary or Harper.
Yeah.
I got one more question, and while you're answering this question, we'll have Putnam start scrolling the comments and look for anything that people have been popping up. But you mentioned last night something about the trailer parking. Do you want to comment on that real quick?
Yeah, we were going to try to get something out there tomorrow. And again, this funeral kind of changed everything for me. I'm leaving tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for Northern Ohio. So it's going to have to wait until we get home from PRI. Essentially, what's going to take place out there is a bunch of the lines that are on the track right now for parking are going to get wiped away. Certain spots are going to be made bigger. Certain spots are going to be made smaller. We're going to try to revamp how the parking is going to be done on the top end. We are going to open up some more spots to be purchased. There is going to be a price difference laid out. Chris was very adamant about not having the spots up front look empty. We've had 173 bracket racers for a points race. And literally guys are parked 3/4 of the way down that pit area. And we had 6 or 7 spots right up front open. And as an out-of-town racer driving in the gate, you've just paid your hard-earned money, and you're like, hey, cool, there's a spot. And you're like, oh, nope, that one's taken. And then what about there? Oh, no, that one's taken. Oh, nope, that one's taken. And then turn left and drive a half a mile to go park. And then as you're racing through the weekend, you're thinking, nobody ever parked in that spot. And let me tell you, it is a situation that is it's the number one gripe that Gary and I receive is, I wish you guys would do something. I wish you guys would do something. And so, when the facility was open only on Sundays and only open, let's call it 20 dates a year, it made sense that you could charge one flat fee for all the events, and that was okay. And we didn't have multiple series when this thing first got put together, like we do now. We didn't have 2-day bracket races. We didn't have, all the things that we've got going on now. So, it needed to evolve. And the way we're going to make it evolve is you're going to basically have a couple of different options. You can, if you are an existing pit spot person, you are going to be able to purchase your pit spot 4 different ways, actually. You can purchase it for the points races. You can purchase it for the index races and small tire heads up races. Let's just call it heads up for the sake of argument. Sure. You can purchase it for the big dollar, let's call it the big bucks races and the this is that and the other. And then what was that?
The big bucks races and points races together is one option. Those two combined.
Yeah, there's you can basically do your bracket stuff and all the big dollar races as one package. You can do just the points. You can do just the points races as a package, and then you can do the index stuff as a package. And so all those details will come out. But I'll be honest, they're going to come out to the people that have already purchased in the past. They get first right of refusal, or however we're going to look at that. We are going to take the pit spots, which are diagonal down at the top end. We're wiping them lines out. Those pit spots are now going to be 90 degrees to the grass. So basically teed off to the grass, straight back. It will actually, if the guy gets finished racing early, he can back straight out of his pit spot and turn and go. None of this coming out on an angle and you're blocking and we've seen a lot of near misses with guys trying to leave the pit area. So we're going to clean some of that up. We're also going to offer some of those spots for purchase. We haven't decided. It's going to basically be on a needed basis. Hey, we've got 12 people that are on the I want a spot list, and I need to create 10 more to fulfill that. Then 10 of them will be space numbered for rental. The spaces that are down there right now, they're between 30 and 31 feet wide. That's ridiculous. We can't do that. It was okay when we were getting 80 cars and it was a Sunday only event, and that was cool. Not cool now when you're talking about 50 cars in box and 50 cars in no box and 30 sportsman cars. It's just too spread out.
Yeah. Right.
So we're going to tighten them up to 22 foot, which is a standard, like you go to an NHRA national event, or if you go to a track, Worldwide Technologies, places that are already striped out. That's how they've striped them, 22 foot. So that gives you your 8.5 foot from your trailer, and it gives you 12 foot to park the race car. And then, there's going to be somebody right next to you. Now, if we can get 2 or 3 guys pitted together that are all buddies, I don't care if you park, on the outside and park your race cars in the middle. To make a compound. I don't care. You're just going to be listed you got from this line to that line, and I don't care what you do in the middle. I do not want to be the pit police. Not my deal. But I got to do something to create. We've got guys that have bought a spot. I get it. People get hurt. Vehicles get hurt. We're not prepared. We've got something come up. We're just not racing right now, but I don't want to give up my spot. Well, I contacted people all year and say, hey, you can use your spot this weekend. And I would get no response. The idea was, well, it was my spot. I rented it. Nobody should get to use it. Well, ultimately, it still belongs to Mid America Dragway, and we're going to fill those spots. We'd like to do it, and we'd like to do it without grief, because it's what we need to do. Plus, honestly, guys, it gives me a second opportunity to generate revenue on the same spot.
Yep.
And you know, nobody likes the pits with all the potholes and all the stuff. I'm in the process of fixing a lot of that stuff right now, and and all of it takes money. So that's kind of where we're at. And you know, there's been comments that have come through that we're changing it up, and I get it. And sometimes change sucks, but we got changes. What's going to keep us moving forward, and we want this track to be here. So that's what we're going to do.
Yep.
So more information on that in the weeks coming. We're not going to leave anybody hanging, and but nobody that has paid for a spot in the past, you will be contacted. If you haven't, you know, you will be. I mean, we've sent out all the text messages. There's been a few people we haven't gotten responses from. We're definitely going to need those responses back to move forward. You know, sometime probably in February, we're going to simply say, okay, you know, who wants a pit spot? And maybe we get 15 people. And it could be as simple as we create a lottery situation. We draw 15 names, put them in a hat. We just start pulling them. Okay, this guy's next. You know, where do you want to go? He's what's available.
Yeah.
So once it's set, and we're done dealing with it.
Cool.
All right. Gary, how you looking over there, Mr. Putton, on the comments? You got anything for us?
I rolled up here a real quick deal here. Brandon Wayman asked right off the bat, how come we didn't get Rocky Mountain Race Week?
I don't know. I was never contacted by them.
Okay.
And that is the God honest truth. I sent several emails, text messages. I know Matt Frost personally. I mean, I was a Colorado racer. I dealt with him. We ran the racetrack in Pueblo the first year Rocky Mountain Race Week came through in 2016 when it all started. We did a hell of a job for him. I think part of the problem was when they came through the very first time, the track probably wasn't ready for them, both in the staff and in the facility. And then they weren't really forthcoming in how their situation worked. So unfortunately, two groups both walked away with a bad taste in their mouth. And I think that's where we're at. The other thing too that's a factor is I think that there was too much distance to drive between our facility and a couple of the other ones. I don't know all the details. I was never given the opportunity to try to fix it. And let me tell you, the shutdown area and all those things that were a problem before, they're handled. There was comments that there was no safety. Well, we know that we've got spot on safety guys. I would put my own life in Mike's hands any day of the week. Him and Kyle do a hell of a job for us. And we know that we have, equipment. Just because the ambulance is parked behind the tower doesn't mean that there's not somebody down there with equipment bags and all the training necessary to do what needs to be done to take care of people. We are not allowed to transfer anybody in the state of Kansas. So having that slow ass diesel powered ambulance down there to try to drive to a scene is ridiculous. Mike takes his own personal vehicles down there. They're all equipped for situations. So I know that the Rocky Mountain Race Week had some issues with feeling like the safety wasn't in place, that there was potholes in the shutdown area. And guys, you know what the track situation was 5 years ago. It's not what it was today. I mean, it's made some improvements. It's made some drastic improvements.
Lots of improvements.
Yeah. So what we're going to need is we're going to need our racers, our local guys like him, to go and put the word in and say, dude, I run that facility. I race there 5 times a year. And it is, we're going to put the radial record in the 3s this year, guys. You know that.
You got that right.
Okay.
You got that right.
So if I can handle that, I know that we are capable of doing the other deal. From the quarter-mile finish line to what would be the sand trap is 2,300 feet. There's plenty of shutdown. We're taking care of the bumps, the bruises, and the things that were down there. I want to give a quick shout out to Larry Barnes. He's an older gentleman that comes out. He watches the races. He's a huge fan. Pulled me aside the last race, said, we need to do something about this pits for these boys. And I said, well, the first thing I got to do is I got to take care of the return road, and I got to take care of the top end of the racetrack. And I'll be honest, Mr. Barnes wrote us a check for $5,000, and I bought a ton of those buckets to repair. We bought 82 buckets of that repair stuff, and Troy Brower and his group, they pitched in some even more. But I have over 100 buckets of that repair stuff.
Nice.
We're gonna have a fantastic racing surface, shutdown area, and return road come the first part of the year. So those are the things that I felt like were necessary to be able to go to Rocky Mountain Race Week and say, put me on a schedule. We can handle this event. But I never got the phone call. So do your due diligence. And when you're out there, guys, tell Matt it's me. He knows it's me, but I can't make him answer the phone. And
Sure.
And we're not looking for just Rocky Mountain Race Week. We would love to be involved with anybody's drag and drive event. And if I have to, I may start one because I've been on them. I've participated in them, love them to death. One of my best friends in Indiana, Rich Pedraza, started out doing the hot rod
Rich
version.
Is he? I think, I seen he got on here a while back. Well, he says Rich is watching. I don't know if he still is, but I know Rich as well from Drag Week and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Rich has got a yellow Mustang that I back halved in 2004, 2003, 2004. I did the complete back half on that car originally and put the Molly cage in it. And it had he said, listen, build me a 9-second car, but I got a 12-second motor. And he raced that thing for years. And now it's, 590 something inch big block Ford. And he drives it and the thing kills. And he's run all over the country. He's done several drag and drive events and does a great job. And so all the conversations with him, I'm like, man, talk to them, find out. So I think what it's just going to take, guys, is going to take you guys and a few guys that made laps here and went, I can't believe night and day how much better it is than it was.
Right.
And somebody's got to give me a chance. Let me show you what I can do. And then I think we'll be on everybody's schedule at that point.
Yep.
Good. Hutton, what else you have?
This here isn't really a question, but it's a show of support already. Chris Padgett, he got his NHRA license earlier this year, and he says, I'll transfer my license once I get it. Meaning,
perfect.
Once you get that NHRA side, he'll transfer. So
fantastic. And we had a couple of them that we just handed off to Nick in the last couple of weeks. We hand delivered them, and I know they were processing them. The problem with the NHRA system is a lot of hands touch that same piece of paper before it generates a license. I don't understand that. I don't. It's not that difficult. You turn in the time slips, you turn in this stuff. It should have been as simple as your WDRA process that you had today. I sent a deal and boom, it came right back and I got a license. That's how it should work. So
what else you got?
This is a statement from Jessica Hicks Spears. Happy to have you all on the WDRA. I work with WDRA on the media and communication side. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to send me an email anytime, jess@racewdra.com.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Good contact there. Yep.
And like I said, guys, their phone numbers are all over their web. It's all over their Facebook. Great organization. I mean, I'm biased. I'm not going to lie. I've been really good friends with Scooter and John for 7 years, and I worked with them daily. It's a new organization, but it's not new people. They've done it forever.
Right.
And now they're doing it. I wish I could go back in life and rub some stuff out and start over. And that's what they've done. And so that's a great organization. What else you got?
Charles McPherson, he says, can 580 go back to instant green?
That is going to determine by the rest of the group. We're going to sit down. Mr. Steve Baker is kind of our 580 guy. He's the one that's been out helping us. Obviously, of Baker and Stahl, everybody knows those guys. we're going to be leaning on him for some marketing money, for some sponsorship for the category. And so I'm going to let him have a say, and we're probably going to put some kind of a meeting together for it. Typically index stuff, depending on what it is, some of it's instant green, some of it isn't. And it just depends on where you're at. And the part I don't like on the instant green is the guessing factor. And there's nothing worse than being guessed on. And maybe that's what guys are looking for, is the advantage on the guess. But to me, 4/10 Pro Tree is where it's at, because you can do a lot of things to make that adjustment to make the tree come out right. The guessing factors is a little bit rough. So we're going to find out, though, those details, another things that are going to come out here in January. So thanks for the question. Okay. We'll get you some information as soon as it comes out.
And earlier on, when we was talking about the $50 buy-in, and the track gets the $25, did you? I might have missed it, but did you mention the July date when that's a cutoff for that?
Yes, that's July. It's July 1st. However, because we have potentially some bracket racing guys involved, we need to get all the bracket guys taken care of before they sign up for My Points, because they have to be in the system prior to us running our first event so that they qualify for World Finals and they qualify for ET Finals. So that's why I didn't mention the deal. Plus, again, we're looking for that tacked on at the back. The sooner you do it, the more you got tacked on at the back.
Yep.
Yeah, granted, it's you got money in your hand, and I'd rather have the $50 right now to get through Christmas, whatever. That's fine. January, make it happen.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to give up. Where it sucks is when your license is due and it's like September. It's just a bad combination. You show up at the track and you're like, man, I didn't renew. Or it happens. If we can get the licenses to where they're all being handled, December, January, February, you guys ain't racing. You renew every year. It's easy to remember. Hey, we just did Christmas, and guess what? I got to do that. The wife has an automatic great gift for you. Hey, I bought your sanctioning fees for next year for your class.
There you go.
So that's why we're kind of pushing it and not saying, yes, you have till July 1st, but that is the official date. But we'd like to see it. We'd like to see it done sooner, because there's benefits to doing it sooner. For me, because now I have the money to be able to use those improvements that we want to get done. So carry on.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Rodney, I don't know if I dare read what my wife said.
Oh, I already read it. I don't know if we should post that.
Yeah, I'm not just going to roll past that.
No G-rated version of that at all, huh?
She's putting us to work is what she's doing. She's putting us to work.
Mrs. Harper is digging the idea.
Oh, she's a cheerleader. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, do that. Put those guys
pushing buttons.
Bunch of idiots.
Chris Paget here says, is there any difference for chassis certification?
Your NHRA chassis cert will work for the facility. Nothing changes there. It's the same SFI specs, IHRA, NHRA, WDRA. However, when your chassis cert comes available or comes up for due, and you are only going, here's the bad part. Let's face it. Nobody down south is going to check for a damn tag, and nobody out east is going to check for a damn tag. I'm going to check for a tag. So get a WDRA recertification. It's $100. So even the chassis cert's way cheaper. So, when that time comes and you're like, hey, I run WDRA more than I run anywhere else. And I go to Division 4 and they don't look or care. Then why spend the extra money to do the NHRA thing? I would normally tell you, I usually tell the chassis guys, hey, if you do NHRA, you're covered everywhere you go, because NHRA does not accept, WDRA does not accept IHRA, but yet it's all the same specs. It makes zero sense. It's another one of those feed the monster so that the monster can keep eating, and that's the only reason why we're feeding the monster. Has nothing to do with the quality of the cert or anything. It's all checked the same way. It's all done the same way. That's done by the Safety Foundation and Corporation. Has absolutely nothing to do with NHRA, IHRA, or WDRA for that matter. It comes from the SFI Foundation, which is linked with the insurance company. So just for that clarification, but when it comes time, WDRA will offer chassis certs, and actually I'm going to be the guy doing the chassis certs in our area. So you don't even have to go chase a guy down. I'm easy to find.
And
I'm the guy with the boot on at the staging lanes.
You said it'll be cheaper as well, right? But
Tiffany McSparkman thinks that the boys ought to have a hot dog selling contest.
oh no.
Yeah, don't listen to her.
Hey, we can hit this button and remove you.
Yeah, we can end this right now.
They said they can remove you from this if you keep it up. Yeah,
We can make you disappear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you have no idea what it's like dealing with the peanut gallery 10 feet away. It's fantastic. Let me tell you. It's I cannot.
I see you, Tiffany.
You're gonna move past me now.
Man, I can't believe you got blocked like that.
Oh yeah, Gary's on
You're gonna
lockdown.
go on past me.
Wow.
Hey, the chassis cert will be cheaper too, right? Than the NHRA mess.
Yes. It's 170 through NHRA. It's $100 through WDRA.
Boom. Well, that just paid for the $50 fee.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say, guys. And I mean, that's the other reason why I love this organization, because again, there's essentially 3 guys at the top or 4 guys at the top and some support help. And they've managed to do a hell of a job. But there's not, they're not buying a new Corvette for the vice president to cruise around. They're not paying for $1 million home somewhere. And so, these guys are just working stiffs that want to make sure that drag strips are solid and racers are having a good time and they're safe.
Okay.
Yep.
So for me, my NHRA licenses will be due sometime. I think it's actually coming up this year. So I'll just get with you to have that renewed. Yep. And that'll be that. So
correct.
Okay. Now here's a question. Let's say with that WDRA license, I'm just thinking about this. What if I roll down to Tulsa or Ennis or something?
That's the thing. If they check your chassis tag and they say, "Hey, where's your NHRA sticker?" You got some explaining to do. But when's the last time they checked you down there?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being honest. That's part of what got us where we're at with the WDRA in the first place. They wouldn't check for stuff down there, but yet made me do it up here. So that's where the disconnect was for me. If you feel like you're going to get checked, then you spend the extra money and then you're covered no matter what. Yeah. Yep.
Right. It's all good. I got a quick question just because, and Putnam and I were talking about this online, and this is nothing to like say you have to answer right now, but just something to go back and think about. When we roll to some of these other tracks, the tech people come to the trailer and we don't have to get in line in the back.
Correct. And we will probably, that was the other reason why we wanted to get the parking situation a little more user friendly with everybody up front, because then we were going to be able to do that. A couple of weird things happened this year with staffing. And part of that was we lost Tim, our normal staging guy, who was our tech guy. Well, Tim went to work for Chris full time at the carpet store. So Saturdays he's gone. And so that's why we had some new faces in the staging lanes this year. And, Tim would come as soon as he got off work and he would show up, and at 5 o'clock here I am. But it threw the tech process off. Fred Kaufman is essentially our tech guy, but Donnie, our starter, myself, Gary, we're all working on getting our tech stuff. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to do an extended tech. So the first event, we will basically go through a pretty serious deal through the car. We're not going to I ain't crawling around underneath and looking on a chassis, a serial number on the chassis case.
Right.
Yeah. It's got the right one in it. We're going to send it.
Yeah.
But we're going to go through and we're going to look at all the things that are required on your car based on the ET that it should run. And then you're going to get a sticker. Yeah. And at that point, we're going to maybe look at doing, hey, you know what? On the second heads up race, let's run around and let's just check basic, we're going to check overflow bottles and mounting of radiators. The next race we may do seat belts. The next race we may do something else. And those spot checks would be done at the trailer. What I like about it is if I have the opportunity and I'm not busy out rubbing on a racetrack, which I'm actually, if you've noticed, guys, we're starting to, I don't want to be the only man that knows how to do what I know how to do. I'm training my staff. I've got some really solid guys. Donnie's done a hell of a job for me as the starter, and he's taken to the prep side of it. He's a sponge. He wants to learn everything about it. If I can start turning those things over to these guys, I would love to drive around on a golf cart and shake hands and thank you for coming and let's take a look. And okay, there you go. Tech card. Boop. All right. Next run, away you go. We've looked at maybe doing run cards that stated you make one pass in the left lane for qualifying, or one pass in the right lane for qualifying. And we basically determine that card when we turn your tech card in. You get this one, and and you two would be maybe, you both got left lane first pair or first run and right lane the second run, and maybe two guys over here got rights and lefts. So it would basically, then what lane you're going in, and we don't end up with one lane that's got 7 cars in it and one guy over here, and then now we get to first round and the track is not even.
Uneven. Yeah.
Right.
I got
so
you.
So those are all things that we're looking at. So yeah, and that was one of the things that's on my list to talk about 16th.
Okay, good. Gary, anything else from the comments? Ready to wrap it up?
Yep.
Okay.
Steven said the tech stickers are nice, like you talked about.
Yeah, so it's a one and done. You don't have to get every time you go to the
absolutely. And guys, that has benefits me, the racetrack. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't have to pay somebody to do all of that, and we can just knock it out and we're good. And like I said, that's important to us to make sure that you, the racer, doesn't have to show up 4 hours early to make sure you get through the tech line, because we want to get you tech before the first round. Yeah. So if you got your tech card and you got your sticker and you pass whatever I decide is what we're checking on today, and what we're checking on today may be the license. Yeah. And I go, hey, got your license with you? Yeah. Oh, here you go. Okay. Well, good. Next. Mm-hmm. Good luck. Next. Brad. So that's what we're thinking.
Brad,
all right. Here's a question.
Brad, he's got a question. For guys that plan on buying multiple class licenses, is there a discount for the additional classes? Good question.
Not in the sports, not in the bracket racing side. So in other words, if you're going to run, say, sportsman and pro or no box, no, you got a full pop pay for both of them with 2 separate numbers, and both numbers need to be displayed on the car so that we can keep points separate for both ET numbers. That allows you to have the ability to go to world finals or ET finals with the team. Something that's different from between WDRA and all the other sanctioning bodies is if you win 2 categories, you can enter both of those categories. Like at the divisional level or the ET finals, you could take 1 car and run 2 classes. You cannot do that at the world finals. They're looking for that would be a disadvantage, because you'd end up with extra time runs and some of that stuff. And you guys are racing for $20,000 at that point. So it's not able to do that at the world finals, but it is at the bracket finals. So, you take a long tow and now you get 2 opportunities with the same car, cuts back on what it takes to get there and all those kinds of things. So other than, if you're going to do like index stuff, 1 license would cover every category in index, small tire and all that, 1 license. So I think if we're talking about 2 categories or 2 deals, that's probably more like 2 guys running 2 classes in the ET series. And you'll have to run 2 separate deals. And so there's no discount on the second one.
Okay. Good.
Very good.
Anything
but I still
else,
get
Gary?
I get $50 out of both of them that way.
Yes.
There you go.
So I mean, you're still
supporting the track.
You're still supporting the racetrack, man. End of the day, you're supporting your home.
Exactly.
Yep. That's
anything else, Gary?
No, that's pretty much.
Go ahead and throw up Tiffany's little suggestion.
All right.
I like it.
Bam, there we go.
I have his apron picked up.
Go ahead and read that out.
Oh,
Gary.
man. Tiffany Putnam, she says, I think Gary and Rodney should work in the concession stand to sell hot dogs and have a bidding war to who can sell the most hot dogs. And someone needs to live feed it and put it on their broadcast. Whose idea was this? I think this is her idea. I think somebody else is pushing her buttons.
I got a funny feeling that would be a good event. I might be able to sell some hot dogs to just watch that.
No kidding.
Right.
I was competitive as we are. We'd probably be out in the stands just like selling them. No, here, buy for me.
Yeah. I could see that. If nothing else, we need to have you guys in a hot dog folding rolling competition. See how fast you can roll up 10 hot dogs and get it ready for sale. I think Jasmine would love the help in concessions.
Man, I have
absolutely.
You know, that's a grab the deal, throw the dog, lay it in the paper, fold the end, roll. One.
Here's your wife fueling the fire too.
She's jumping in.
Mrs. Harper said, I love this idea. Maybe they could sell during a bracket race so they don't miss their own small tire races. And
see, now that's a woman that's ready to make sure that you get the thing done for sure.
Okay, here's an idea. What about like at baseball games where they walk down the stands with a thing on their chest and holding hot dogs?
Get your hot dog here.
Get your hot dogs and you could check it to them and stuff.
That's right. Hot rod selling hot dogs. Who's got one? Who wants one?
And
Fred wants us to wear costumes doing it.
That ain't right.
Come to the racetrack, and I'll be glad to come to the racetrack and watch this and actually live feed.
There you go.
And I'll even swing by and pick up Rod's wife.
Now we're really putting the pressure on now, guys.
They're double teaming. You gotta
do this.
That's getting down for sure.
Thank you. Cool.
Costume,
So
I think Fred's talking about Troy here with the banana.
Probably
the banana.
Jeez, awesome.
Yeah. So I just had one more thing to announce at the end, but I'll just go ahead and start the closing here. Gary Putnam, do you have anything else?
I don't. We covered a lot of good information. Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Excited about PRI. Gary's going to bring me there. First time I took him to Buc-ee's this year, he's taking me to PRI. It's like
that's almost a fair trade, honestly.
Yeah.
That's almost a fair trade.
Harper, do you have anything else? I have one last thing, but I want you to go first.
Well, I do know that, obviously a majority of your show clientele, people that you're reaching is going to be our heads up small tire community or our index guys. We are looking at that December 16th. Details will follow. We'd like to get everybody gathered up together. We're looking for a couple of things. We're looking for some information that we can use towards building our points program, building our points fund, deciding how we want to go about doing some of these things. And honestly, guys, we're going to be beating the drum to drum up some money so that we can help support this deal. The last small tire event that we did was the first time that it actually broke even. And so I commend you guys for doing that. And I'll be honest, that's a win. I mean,
other side.
From
there you go. Boom.
From going from honestly, it $10,000 to $15,000 the wrong direction to a break even is a home run. So we'd love to meet up with those guys. Our Townsend Auto supported the series. Booker's Transmissions sponsored the series. I know that Neil Chance Converters helped you guys out with a few things. We know that Mr. Lopez has helped out a bunch. We know that Flip has done an amazing job to help us out, and all the other sponsors that help us on a day-to-day. You may be sponsoring or marketing partner to help with this particular series, but know that you are keeping the facility going for everybody to enjoy. and we don't want to leave anybody out. And I think we've done a hell of a job. And I'm okay breaking my arm off on my back on that one. I don't want to leave anybody out. I want to treat everybody equal. I know that sometimes it doesn't look like it's equal track time. I mean, we get it. The bracket racing guys fulfill a lot of the schedule. But I'll be honest, if I ran you guys as hard as those guys, you'd make it halfway through the year and be blowed up because you just can't abuse the cars the same way.
No,
and
your setup's just about right. I like
that. And with
for a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the Titans coming back and being strong, and the couple of races down south and our program here, we know that we are going to be a big part of that part of the community for years to come. We want the support, and I don't want, this is not to be the Debbie Downer. Well, if we don't get enough money, we're going to close the gate tomorrow. It's not that situation. What that situation is at some point, all these improvements that I'm doing, the lighting package, we didn't get to really get into that tonight. And once I start that, it is going to be phenomenal. We're talking about all LED lights, return road, racetrack, shutdown area. Nice. We're going to take the poles that are exposed by the no guardrail. Those poles are going out. Another wall is going in. Poles are going behind that wall. We're going to change the way you come off of the racetrack. The amount of stuff that I need to get done between now and March 16th is huge. Yeah, but that's okay.
Right. Some of it's for you.
Got my work cut out for me, but I'm okay breaking off that bite. I just hope that our normal February weather doesn't hammer me the whole month. I need to be able to work part of it. I don't have to work every day, but I need to get some of it in. With the lighting package, the things that we're doing with the return road and the other, we're going to start working our way around the pit area. When the racetrack makes money, that money goes back into the facility. There's never been a scare as long as I've been here that the track was going away because it was underfunded. I'll be very, very lucky that we have Jim and Chris and Jasmine to make sure that that's not going to happen. This is Jim's legacy, and we'd like to keep that moving forward. And thank God for Harry Street Carpet, because they make sure that that everything is good every month. But you want the racetrack that you're going to continually make improvements, and the profitability from these events allows those improvements to happen quicker. That concrete did not get broke overnight. That concrete's not going to get fixed overnight. But if we can keep chipping away at it, literally, and filling it and plugging it and cutting it out and fixing it and making moves and selling pit spots and getting guys to support it, we know at the end of the day what the last operating racetrack in Kansas has to offer, and we want to be that track for everybody. We're not going to be everything to everyone every weekend, but everybody should get a bit and piece of this deal. And with the WDRA's help and our great marketing partners, we'll be able to do that for you in 2024.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good. Sounds good. We appreciate that. So just to wrap it up, just a shout out to you coming on. We appreciate you coming today and talking with us. And we're just asking all the subscribers to go out to our YouTube page at Heads Up Racing, Gary and Hot Rod Podcast. Give us some likes, give us some thumbs up. And so for next week, April 10th, 7 p.m., we've reached out to the one and only, the Stewed, Brandon is coming. Brandon Sandlin is coming to the show. And we're going to be talking to him all the way to the left, racing with his dad, all of his journeys around the country. And I told him, too, we're even going to talk about the wreck, and the rebuild and what he's got going on. So we'll load this broadcast here shortly tonight or in the morning, and then you'll start seeing on Facebook and everywhere us pumping up Brandon. So, Mr. Harper, we appreciate your time. Great show tonight, and thanks for coming on. We got a lot of information, and we'll just keep sharing it and liking it and keep moving forward.
Well, I appreciate it, and keep an eye out for our Facebook page as always. Make sure you're following. There'll be some information, like I said, the parking, the other things that are coming up. Going to be a couple of busy months here with a lot of information just being floated out. And remember, my phone number is out there. You got a question, please ask it, because I don't want somebody thinking something because of a rumor or something that they've heard. I've been as straight up as I can be with every single person. So we got a question, let's get it answered. And I do want to welcome the WDRA to Mid America's family, and we're going to move forward together. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Right
and we're also going to talk to John O'Neill in the coming future.
Yeah, he's really looking forward to it. We talked about it this morning on the way to the airport, and I know that he's looking forward to it, and he's a great interview. I mean, I'm sure you figured it out last night from talking to him. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he, unlike a lot of people in his position, he's not just a talker. He's a great listener, and that's what's fantastic. I mean, already I've had a couple of things that I thought we might be able to do to make the program better, and it's there. We're doing it. That's what's cool. So
yeah.
Well, I look forward to John's show for sure. I look forward to all your guys' shows.
We are too. And last night on the way out, Rod and I was talking to him for just a minute, and Rod goes, "Yeah, we're going to talk to you. Get it a little bit beforehand and find out what's off the table to talk about and whatever." And he's like, "Nothing will be off the table to talk about. Everything will be available."
Yes, so and that's how he strongly feels, and it's an open book, and that's what's, again, there's no corporate umbrella putting a box around them. For years, the corporate entities that were in control of these sanctioning bodies, they're always worried about, if you say the wrong thing, we can get sued, and don't do this and don't say that and don't do that. And they want the truth out there. And if you got a problem, we want to fix it. That's what they're in the business for.
There you go.
Awesome.
Well, guys, I think that's
just
it.
Real quick.
You got that, Troy?
Yeah, just real quick. You want to answer that? Latecomer there. It says heads up point series for next year, Mr. Harper.
Yes. Details will be worked out on the 16th at that meeting. So we'll have some more details on when that meeting's going to happen. Cameron Marzoff's given us the opportunity to come to his shop, providing that we're not going to have any snow. Obviously, he's in the snow removal business, so that would change things a little bit. If we've got good weather in a couple of weeks, we're going to do a meeting at that deal, and we will iron out how we're going to handle it and what's going to be up for stake. And we'll get all those details figured out then. And hopefully by then, I've gotten a chance to talk to Nick and some of the powers that be, and I'll have some answers for the no prep stuff. I have asked them to maybe see if they could be available so that we could, collectively get some of these things done, so that going into the first of the year, we all know what's at stake, and we all know what the boundaries are and what the parameters are, and we'll take it from there.
Very good.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, thanks again. You have a good evening. Appreciate everybody joining in. Go and subscribe and like. Appreciate that. All the likes and subscriptions will help us keep going.
And get on WDRA's website and get your license stuff taken care of now.
Please do. It helps us tremendously.
I already did it. It's easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did it on a Sunday afternoon. I had to email because I made a mistake on what I picked. Should have picked new member. I picked NHRA transfer. So I sent an email saying that. I got an email back that said, the lady's name, I forget what it was, but she said, "No problem, I'll take care of it." And it wasn't long after that, on a Sunday afternoon, in the middle of the afternoon, I get another email back that had my license information all taken care of. And that's the post I made on Facebook. Was there it was. I did it all on a Sunday afternoon. Somebody's watching that stuff on a Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely.
So easy.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks, Mr. Harper.
Take care.
See you, bud.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
It's me and you, Rod. What's up? Man, awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Good show. Great show.
Brandon next week. We're going to PRI this week.
Yes.
Thursday,
I'm
Friday.
excited for that. Wheels up, 12 o'clock on Wednesday. Hit the ground running Thursday, Friday. Just can't wait. Got a few meetings set up for both of us. I got a nice meeting. I hope to come away with something on Wednesday or on Thursday, and maybe we can announce that there as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Let me catch this real quick. This person asks, it's race. Okay. They asked about the website.
Yeah.
Curtis Maybrier is asking for the WDRA website. It is racewdra.com is where you go. Racewdra.com. I'd post it across here, but I can't. I'd have to put it on my phone. But
one word.
Race. Yep, one word. Racewdra.com. Curtis. That's what it is. Yep, that was awesome with Mr. Harper.
Yeah,
lots of great information.
Yeah, we got signed up to do another side job too, apparently. So
we're gonna have to edit. We're gonna have to edit that out.
We'll edit that out for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate the shout outs to everybody too. We appreciate your guys' support.
Yep. Thanks for hanging, watching. We had about 40 pretty solid for a long time. Tracy Lynn, thanks. And thank you for everything you do, Tracy.
Yeah, great pictures yesterday.
Yep. Very good.
All right. All right, Gary, let's go call it a day.
Let's end this. Good job, brother.
All right. Good job. Talk to you later.
Over and out.
All right, buddy.